Sir Cracker, and that was a quick update. Hey there, this is the Only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you from the front yard today. It's the Only Sir Cracker. Guess what? I knew the camera was on the entire time, because I'm having fun with you. So last spring, I cut a barrel in half, and I made 2 half barrels. And then I had this barrel and that one. Now, I just set these up this way because this patch of ground right here in front of it, the dog is killing the grass. So what I figured I would do is try to change up her patterns on the way she runs or goes through the yard. So I lined them up. And so we're going to put probably some smaller plants in there. We haven't quite decided, but that'll be for the wife and I to figure out. And then over here, we tried to do an herb garden last year, and it didn't work quite well. It was our first year for the dog, and of course, the dog jumped up in it and just destroyed everything. So this year I'm gonna put some sort of corner posts on it and some sort of netting or something to help keep the dog out of it. And it only gets, shade part of it gets shade all day, and then the other part gets sun only in the evening. So whatever I put in there is going to have to be for shade-loving plants. So like lettuces and that sort of thing. So the back side of the yard, there's been a little bit of change. So a blue barrel here on the end was over there last year, and I moved it just a while ago, and so now instead of 7 there is now 8. The soil sunk about that much in the top of all of the barrels, so I went ahead and I dug the dirt out of about almost half of all the barrels, and I put them in these pots here. And of course, these little pots. Oh, it's over there, behind the tree. And next Saturday, I've got a load of horse manure coming in, and I will be filling them up and leaving probably about 3 inches in each one. These ones have a little more soil in them. I still have some soil to take out of a couple of them here. And then filling the rest with topsoil and mixing it all in, and maybe get some rock dust this year. So I'm not using that, that's broken. So the other thing I'm thinking about doing, I haven't decided yet, is maybe put a pressure treated 2x4 right here, and then another one behind this barrel here, and then running some wire across, and maybe doing some pole beans or some peas or something like that that'll climb up the wire. That's kind of an idea that I'm using. Eventually I'd like to put barrels all the way across, but you know, funds are a little tight these days. My garden update for 2014. Got a lot of work ahead of me. I've got probably a truckload worth of horse manure that's going to come in, and it's older stuff. It's been around for a while, probably about 2 years, been sitting and just kind of decomposing, so it's nice and dense and got a lot of nutrients to it. And I'm going to put that around some of my roses and that sort of thing as well. So at this point in time, I've got a little more spring preparation to do. I've got some gutters on the house that have to be cleaned out, and some more raking and getting all the pine needles and stuff up off the ground, basically picking up the mess that is left over from winter. You know how that works. Hey! Alright, well, I'm the Only Sir Cracker, and that was a quick update. Hey there, this is the Only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you from the front yard today. It's the Only Sir Cracker. Guess what? I knew the camera was on the entire time, because I'm
having fun with you.
I'm the only Sir Cracker, and well, not a whole lot's been going on since the last couple of videos, but a little bit here, a little bit there. I wanted to give you just a real quick update on what's going on. So, as you can see, I've got a little bit of a fire going in the fire pit here. Really what I'm doing is I'm finding like little chunks of broken wood, and there's a lot of these, there's a lot of these pieces of wood that come off of my trees. I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you get up here in these trees, now these are native pine. You can see all those branches. Those are all dead branches that I'm looking at, pretty much. Lots and lots of them anyways. Like here. So what happens is when the wind blows, big chunks of branches will fall and hit the ground, or even small chunks of branches will hit the ground. So what I've done is I'm just picking them up and burning them. I can put them in a compost bin, but they'll take 2 or 3 years to compost. I am not like the pine needles. I'll show you here. All these pine needles. Okay, these will burn, but the problem with pine needles is they cause a lot of smoke, and we don't want that. We don't want a whole lot of smoke. Smoke is bad. It smells bad. It's against the law to put out that much smoke. I'm in a residential area, so it causes a lot of issues and that kind of stuff with the neighbors and law enforcement and the fire department. So I'm also finding lots of rocks. And just putting them in my rock barrel. Also, there's some leftover charcoal stuff from last time, and some ash from last time I did this, and so I just threw it on top. I just took these old pallets and made a square box. Now, the stuff that's in this is left over from a couple of different compost piles ago, and just never really, it hasn't really done anything. It hasn't composted. So it's not in direct sun. I don't put a whole lot of water on it. As a matter of fact, I never water it. So I just kind of put it there and let it decompose on its own, and it does. It takes a couple years, and I don't turn it or anything. I just let it decompose. I'm pretty lazy, and when it comes to compost, for me it's easier to just spend a few bucks or call a few friends and say, hey, come get my compost. What I have going on right now, there's this black bin. It's just a plastic thing. It's got holes in it, and I got all of the recent stuff that I've gotten from cleaning up the yard in there right now. This will be replaced as soon as I get some more pallets. Like there's one here. As soon as I get some more pallets, I'm going to build another bin right where this is at, and it should line up pretty close to the corner here. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna build so there'll be 2 bins in this spot, and then there'll be where I was just standing, where that metal container, the metal drum was. There'll be another bin, so there'll be 3 bins in total, and they're just decomposing. At least for now. I don't know what I'm gonna do in the next year or two. I have an old 1914, I believe it's a Model A trailer, and it's got a rusted out bottom in it and stuff, but don't mind the high chair. It's garbage. I gotta throw it out. But it's been just loaded with grass clippings for years, and for about 2 years worth, and I just been throwing, and of course pine needles, and just been throwing them in here. I put a tarp in before I put them in, but what I'm going to end up having to do is taking the bed off of the chassis and building a new bed. I want to build a bed the same size as this, just a square box. I'm going to do it out of plywood, and it's going to be probably 2 layers of thick of plywood. I don't know if I'm going to do like a 5/8 or if I'm going to do 1/2 inch, probably 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to get some of this, it's like a rhino lining, it's like a plastic like stuff, rubber that they spray on. And I'm going to have the outside and the inside of it completely sprayed with it. And then I'm going to put the fenders back on, and I'm going to build new side rails, but probably out of like, I don't know, out of cherry or oak or something. I'm gonna make some really pretty side rails for it. And of course have the original tires. I got 3 of the original tires and rims. I'm going to have them sandblasted and redone, find some new hubcaps for them, and then of course get new rubber. And in the process probably put a new tongue on. The tongue that's on there now I think is I think it's a 2-inch steel pipe. When they built the trailer originally, it was built in 1956, and they just took the old 1914 truck and cut it in half and made a trailer out of it. So anyways, I got that for free, gosh, about 7 years ago. I put all new copper plumbing in somebody's house, and as a trade for redoing it, they gave me this. I got the title for it and everything. It's a nice little trailer. I would like to put a better trailer hitch on it, and maybe even like a trailer jack thing. But anyways, as far as the garden's going, let me show you that. So like I said, as far as the garden's going, you know, there were things that were planted in here. This one is yellow squash. It hasn't come up yet. It's only been a few days. Well, about a week. But this is the broccoli. It still hasn't come up. I don't see any sign of that. Haven't gotten to the store to buy these yet. It'll be a while. Kind of hurting financially right now. Kind of in between jobs, so most of everything I've gotten here or done here has all been for free, no cost. So my tomatoes and stuff, I haven't gotten those yet. And then of course my pumpkin has not come up yet. Looks like there's a weed that wants to play around here, but that hasn't come up. And of course none of these, I don't think any of these have come up either. What's this? This is a weed. Yeah, that looks like a weed. So, but yep. So not a whole lot of nothing. We did finish the bed out front. I need to rake the backyard, which is what I'll probably do tomorrow, is rake the backyard and pick up all of the pine needles that are back here and put in the bed. That bed over there is going to need pine needles, and we'll pull the bricks up and put pine needles. But I'll take you up front here and show you what's going on with this. So, but it's been kind of a relaxed day. Not a whole lot. I've kind of been pretty lazy today. So, but yesterday we finished this. So I squared up the corner. If you remember, you know, it was kind of rounded or whatever. I squared it up, and then I put my pot up on just a stepping stone, a big square stepping stone. And then this is just to give you an example of what I plan on doing. And I'll have a little bit more in here than this, but it's basically going to look like that. And so I'm going to pull all these bricks out of here. We're going to use these bricks out back by the shed. And then I finished this. So now that's a high spot there. And it's kind of draining into this corner right here. So if for some reason the faucet decides to leak or whatever, all the water is going to drain. And then I left a big hole in the corner there, so it'll help drain the water out and away from the house. Oh, live next to a busy street. Out and away from the house. And then I also put down some dirt and soil here because there was a huge hole that was gouged out from the water dripping. And then also up on the roof there's no gutters, so the water comes right off and hits the ground and then gouges that out. And so the steps will need to be replaced at some point in time, but that's another story for another time. And so anyways, that's pretty much everything. I raked the yard out here. This is what I got out of the yard out here. I raked this yard a couple weeks back, so yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad, but yeah. So not a whole lot. Kind of just like today, just taking it easy. Most everything was done yesterday. Here's another project for you: the fence. A few years back, we put the poles in to just, regular aluminum poles. Concreted them in just to help keep the fence from falling over, but as you can see, the slats are falling down. Whoever built the fence originally, all they did is put nails in, and over time with the wind and shrinkage and swelling, the nails start to come out. So I'm going to put them back up, but I'm going to use some screws that'll help hold everything a little bit tighter together. So this one here looks like it's also coming out. So, but yeah, just got to clean up a little bit. This is the wood that was on the ground that was left over from a construction project I had down in the basement when we first moved into the house, and it was just a paneled room, and so I laid this on the ground with a tarp, and then that's what I put the compost on, so I didn't have to dig in the tarp and the soil, and I've done that before. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So anyways, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I'll check you later. Well, this is spring in the inland northwest. It's hailing. This is why I don't mind the fact that I planted my garden a little late this year. I mean, it's April 27th and it's hailing. Well, they do say that sometimes it snows in June. They're not kidding. Sometimes it does, but hopefully not. So it's gonna get cold. So I'll probably have to reseed a lot of my plants. But go figure. Anyways, this is a quick update. I'm the only Sir Cracker. It is really, really cold outside, and the hail's coming down. So, pretty cool. Hey there. Hey there, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you from my garden once again. So, today, the weather has been beautiful, and not only today, but the forecast says that the weather is not going to go down below about 35 to 40-ish. Basically, summer's pretty much here. Anyway, so I want to touch base real quick, show you what I've got. I've been promising tomatoes for a while now. So I've got this one here. This is called Alaskan Fancy. And when I buy my tomatoes, I try to find the ones that have two separate plants in them. And then I will plant both plants in the ground as one plant. They typically do pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take these bottom sets of leaves off and plant them in the ground. And then I've got some mulch that I'm going to put around them. It's more like grass clippings and that kind of stuff that I'm going to put around to help keep the soil dry, or keep it wet, sorry. If you look at the soil, it's pretty much all dried out, but you scrape down about 1.5 inches and it's nice and moist. And you know, I've always put mulch or some sort of ground cover on my beds. I've always done that. It helps keep, you know, moisture retention, I believe is what it's called. I had to think for a second. And but I've watched this recently here, and I'm kind of a late bloomer to the whole thing, but I watched this thing called Back to the Garden of Eden. And for me, it's fairly new, the concept anyways. But it's where you put down mulch, either leaves or grass. In that particular situation, they put down lots of wood chips. I don't have wood chips available. I do have lots of grass clippings that I get, and I also get, of course, the natural leaves that fall from the trees. So it's something that I'm going to probably start doing here, is put down grass clippings and that kind of stuff, and just, instead of tilling the soil, letting it just naturally decompose and just add more to it each year and plant in that. I'd like to eventually here be able to use wood chips, but at this point in time I don't have means. I probably can get a hold of them, I just don't have any place to put them. And being the fact that I only have, you know, these few barrels to plant in. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get on the planting. So sit back, enjoy. I might just fast forward a little bit, and I probably won't talk. It'll be my first time I'll try to fast forward through it, and you can watch it in fast motion. That'd be fun, right? Oh, before I do that, okay, so I want to mention I got Alaskan Fancy. I've got another one here called Glacier, which it's a bigger tomato. It's about a 2-inch tomato, or 2 to 3 ounce fruit is what it says, but it's called Glacier. It's supposed to be more like a cherry tomato. And I got a lot of smaller stuff this year, and everything I've gotten this year is new ones I haven't tried before. This one here is called First Lady, which I am assuming is also kind of a cherry tomato. In the past, I've done beefsteak, and I've done early girl, and I've done Romans, and I've done all of the very common, typical tomato plants, but I have kind of decided that I no longer want to do that. I want to try something new and different that I have never done before. So that's what's going on and where we're at. So anyways, I'm going to get on planting. Well there, friends, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot to it. It's pretty much what I do every year, as I always put some mulch around it. The thing I've been doing, which is a problem, is every spring I've been taking the mulch off and adding it to my compost pile, and taking some of the fresh compost and mixing in, which is fine, but you know what, I've done not a lot, but I've done some research, and I'm going to do some more here in the future. But first of all, I'm not a big fan of weeding. I don't like to weed my plants, and this definitely helps to keep the weeds down. You know, this will get wet, and it'll compact a little bit, and I'll add a little bit more you know, as the plants get bigger and that kind of stuff too. But it does a couple of things. When the weather gets really cold at night, it helps keep the plant and the roots warm, so that you can get a little bit further into the season. And also, if there is, I mean, this is still spring, so you know, first part of May here. I think tomorrow's the 1st of May, so we could get a frost, or at least we could get some, you know, down to freezing temperatures. So just in case, you know, that kind of thing, it helps with that. But here's the thing, I've been doing a lot of research and looking into this. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do more, but this really has a lot to do. The problem is we've all been taught to double dig your garden and to constantly add stuff to it, you know, and which compost is fine, but you add chemicals and all kinds of things that cause problems to your gardening, and I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like all the hard work, and I'm kind of lazy, and a lot of other I still consider myself a novice, even though I've been gardening my whole life. But I don't want to weed anymore. I don't want to dig anymore. I just want to plant and enjoy the fruits. Same with watering. I have a concern that, especially in the hot summertime, I might have to water a little bit because this isn't in the ground. This is in 55-gallon barrels, drums. But I'd like to not have to water my plants. If I can get away with not having to water my plants, I would be doing fantastic. And so that's kind of what I want to find out, is if I can get away with not watering. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So I am the Only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you, friends. It's me, the Only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you once again from my garden. It's been about a week since I made my last video, so it's going to be kind of a little bit of a longer video. Not only do I want to show you what's been going on, but what's been growing on. Alright, so I'm going to show you my mulch pile and show you what I'm going to do with that. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called drunken compost. So I'm going to attempt to do it. I'm not going to do it quite exactly in layers like everyone suggests. It's already pretty much in layers. All I have to do really is just spray it down and cover it up. So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to show you. I've got a lot going on here as far as compost is concerned. So I'm going to end up doing both of these here. There's this one, and then I got that one as well. And then there's the one, of course, that's over here on the other side of the shed. Now this is probably about 2 years old. I threw a few new leaves in there, but this was sitting in that trailer. It's 1950. It was built in 1956, actually like in 1914. I believe it's a Model A truck, but anyways, whatever. So all this has been sitting in there forever and not doing anything. So I'm going to spray all this, and I'm going to spray those, and I'm going to cover everything up with tarps. And so hopefully what this will do is get the process going. So what I've done is I've looked at a couple of different recipes. The one that I've gotten is 8 ounces of ammonia, 16 ounces of your choice cheap beer, and then 16 ounces, because you want equal parts beer to equal parts Coca-Cola or cola. I'm not going to name any brands because I don't drink the stuff myself, but and then I put it into a sprayer, and I'm going to get it on the hose out, and I'm going to do that. Yeah, so there is that. While I'm over here by the porch, let me show you this. This is my spinach, and it's coming up. All 6 rows are coming up. If you can see here, I put some grass clippings and some mulch in between each row to help keep down some of the weeds. As the plants grow a little bit more, I'll add a little bit more mulch. I believe I need to thin them out. They are like this row right here, as you can see. This is pretty dense, and they're starting to get their true leaves on them. I think I'm going to thin them out probably to about every 4 to 6 inches, so I've got some space in between plants. At least that's, I think, what I'm going to end up doing here. And then these little teeny plants that I'm going to thin out and get rid of, I'm just going to eat them or juice them. So that is what's going on over here. See, this is the pot that got knocked over. Not a whole lot of nothing. And then I got some stuff coming up here. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I don't remember. For some reason, I can never remember what that one is supposed to be. Let's see. Doesn't look like my onions are coming up. Or not onions, my potatoes. Potatoes aren't coming up. There's some stuff in here, but I don't know if they're weeds or if they're actually plants. Like this one here and this one here look a lot alike. So I'm wondering if those are weeds. And then there's nothing planted in this. That's empty. It's supposed to be for carrots. And then not a whole lot of nothing coming up in these. And not a whole lot coming up in that one. And then this one here is supposed to be onions, but I'm looking, and it looks to me as if there might be a few little onions here coming up. Some over here. Maybe some here. Some here, and then maybe like one right here. So there's a few, and then of course, you know, you've got the weeds, which is common, especially for horse compost. I almost called it manure. It's not quite manure because it's pretty aged, but yeah, they swallow all the seeds and all the garbage, and then they just pass it through. So, and then here is my cabbages. They're doing okay. You know, this one here's got 2 cabbage plants in it right now. I think what I'm gonna do is end up taking this one here out. It's a little bit weaker. I think that one's gonna go. And then I've got this guy hiding underneath the sun, or underneath the thing here. I don't know. I might have to move him out so he's a little more light. Actually, I might have to move all of them so they're more light. They don't get a whole lot of light during the day, being the fact that this is the north side of the house and we are in the inland northwest, and the sun is in the south here. I know I make that comment because a lot of people are like, well, duh, of course the sun's in the south. Well, YouTube goes all over the world. And a lot of people are in Australia or South America or someplace watching my videos. Well, I'm not getting a lot of people watching my videos yet, but hopefully someday I will. So, wow, I just noticed I have got to clean out those gutters. Oh my gosh. Look at all this stuff in those gutters. It's horrible. And they're just packed. Anyways. Alright, I digress. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do those, and then I'm going to, where are you? I'm going to go ahead and spray those 3 piles of mulch. Hopefully it'll turn. You know what they said, and I don't think that's going to happen in my situation. They might take longer, but they said that it should take 10 to 14 days to turn those piles into usable compost. If that's the case, man, I'm going to have a lot of good compost that I can use. But at this point in time, I'll just be happy to get rid of it. And it's piling up and going fast, and so. Alright, well, watch this. Okay, so I've gone ahead and covered all 3 of them now with tarps. Here, those both have tarps on them. The other one has a tarp on it. So, whew, wait a minute, what's going on? There we go. That's pretty much it. Let's see, I'm going to thin out the lettuce, or not lettuce, the spinach. And water everything in real good and call it a week. So yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. Everything's kind of growing pretty good here. I got my tomato plants, you can see they're doing pretty good. Of course, nothing down below is growing yet, not really. There's a couple like things, but I think they're weeds. So, lilacs came in bloom, I guess. So lilac trees are kind of in bloom up there a little bit. This maple tree's doing good. It's shading. It's getting all its leaves and starting to block our view from the neighbor across the way. Oh look here. Lilac tree there is starting to get some flowers on it, so that's good. These guys down here though, there's nothing on them yet. Maybe I think there's one yeah. Maybe next year they'll get some tomatoes on them, but they're not tomatoes. I'm tired. Maybe next year they'll get some lilacs on them. They're doing good. I mean, as good as to be expected. So I got one little teeny one popping up there underneath the fence. And I got, this is where the main of the plant was, and the dog trampled it down, and it's kind of spreading itself out a little bit with some runners. And then this was an old one, and it's got a couple of little things on it that are coming up, it looks like. So yeah, strawberries are doing good, not bad. So they've even got some fruit on them. See here? Oh, got that in the shot. That's my trusty watering gun. I love it because it's got all the different settings on it, and I can just turn it. And then I've added on the end a quick connect. So all I got to do is pull my hose back and then stick this in, and then it's connected, and it doesn't leak because there's a rubber gasket in between the seal of this and then the other one that's on the hose. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot. Like I said, I showed you the spinach. Rhubarb is looking good. I took a couple of the bigger leaves off the rhubarb to help promote a little bit more growth in the smaller stuff, which isn't necessary at all. It'll just grow and grow and grow and grow all year long, right into the fall actually, and you can harvest it. I've never been a fan of rhubarb. I think I've eaten it a couple times. My mom made like rhubarb pie or something, but it's bitter. I'm not a huge fan of it. Somebody told me you cannot eat the leaves. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll do research eventually here and find out. Yeah, so I grow it more of a sentimental thing, really, than anything. And it would be kind of cool to, I don't know, find some sort of pickling recipe or something. I don't know, but. And I still haven't planted my peas. I'm pretty slow. I'm going to go shopping here pretty soon, and I'm going to buy a couple of packages of peas and plant some peas and see how that does. And I may end up finding myself planting some tomatoes. I put 4, 1, 2, 3, and then the far one. 4 tomato plants. I planted them with seeds, but I'm not very good at getting seeds to go. I mean, I've tried, but I don't know. I mean, here's looks like it could be a weed, but it's about where I planted my tomato seeds. I don't know. Give them a little more time. See, there's more over here, so I don't know. I don't think I planted that many seeds. You can see there's another one there. So, I don't know. We're just gonna sit back and watch and see what happens. If tomatoes come up, then that's pretty cool. If not, I'll give it probably another week, and then I'll go buy some small tomato bushes, maybe some like cherry tomatoes or something like that, and plant in those. But yeah, that's about it. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot's going on. Got a new job, so I'm working like crazy, which is good. I need to be working, keeping my mind busy, and hopefully before the end of the year here, I can buy about 5 or 6 more barrels and finish across here. That'd be kind of cool. I would probably wait. I'll probably wait until, if I plant peas in there, I'll probably wait until fall before I put the barrels actually in place right here. But yeah. Today I brought my tripod out here, which I'm going to be shooting a lot more of my videos with my tripod. Today is going to be a very special video. I'm not going to really show you a whole lot about what's going on in the yard, because there's really not a whole lot going on since my last video. But what I am going to do is set up my tripod. Hey there, friends, it's me again. Hey, so hope you can hear me. Kind of wanted to talk to you about me, myself, and I. Actually, I wanted to give you a little bit of who I am, so you got a little bit of a background. I've been a gardener now for, well, I wouldn't call myself necessarily a gardener anymore. I'm hoping to get back into that and be a real gardener. When I was a kid, my mom used to garden. We had a huge garden. I'd say it was probably about 24 to 30 feet long one way, and probably 12 feet the other way. And my mom used to grow everything from tomatoes, onions, cabbage, my gosh, beets, you name it. She used to grow everything. You can imagine everything. And my mom got sick and started getting to the point where she couldn't go out in her yard and bend over and be out there for a couple hours weeding and that kind of stuff. So I was probably about 9, 10, I think, somewhere along there, when I started taking over her yard and doing the gardening. And I was always in the garden with her. I've always been a big fan of the garden, and it's just what I've done for as long as I can remember. And probably about, I'd say about 13 years ago, I got sick with cancer, and my whole life changed. Actually, a little bit before then, even 14 years ago, my whole life changed, and gardening has still always been something I like to do, and I have a fascination about and enjoy. But time has been a problem, and then not only that, but where we live, we have moved multiple times since then. Lived in apartments for years, and then lived in a duplex a few years back that I couldn't do anything with. There's just no way to do anything. And I've always had a few pots here and there, and tried to grow things in containers on my patio or whatever, but that doesn't go over very well. It's hard to do. It's really hard to grow on a patio and a deck, and so those people who do it and they are able to do it successfully, I definitely take my hat off to you. That's hard work and dedication, and I hope to God I never have to do that again, because that's a lot of work. So growing on a patio or a garden it's crazy. I have, of course, the containers that I put out here in my barrels, the three barrel size pots, and then the 8 smaller ones. Those are out here, and of course I've got all of my smaller ones. And I still garden in containers. I am not, I don't know, I like having the control. A big part of the reason why I've used the 55-gallon containers is there's a couple of big reasons, but the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons, is weeding. You have this small space to weed, and you don't have to really weed a whole lot because you can put down grass clippings and mulch and that kind of stuff to help keep the weeds down. Plus, usually it's all potting mix. Now this year it hasn't been potting mix. This year it's been horse compost, but for the most part, you know, that is what it is. So the other reason I do it in the barrels is because I have fibromyalgia, fairly bad. The leaning over or squatting to get to the ground doesn't work very well for me. I mean, I do it, but it's kind of hard, and it hurts really bad. So I like it being up higher where I can just kind of get to it. The barrels are great because I can reach into the back of the barrel. There was a video on YouTube that I saw, and they basically cut. Here, take a look at this. They basically cut the barrels about here, and then this top half they put cut slats in it. Trimmed the edge and then dropped it down into the bottom of the barrel. This part goes down to the bottom, and then it fills up with this much water. It gets filled up, and then from here up, which would be, you know, from there up, so about 12 inches or so of dirt would be in there, and that's what you're growing in. And for like, if I had to move or something, I can drain the water off and make it a lot lighter. The only problem is, instead of being this height, it's then going to be, you know, 12 to 18 inches, 16 inches lower than where it's at now. I don't mind, but that's too low. Even just reaching to this point, if I had to do it repetitively with every single barrel I have, it's too low. Especially, well, for this application. That, and I want to use these to line this whole part of my property to keep the dog on this side instead of going basically touch base. And kind of let you know, I've been a gardener I've been gardening for a very long time. I'm not necessarily a professional. I don't know terminologies and words for certain things. But when it comes to doing it, I'm really good. I just put my hands in it, and for some reason, almost everything I touch grows. It is insane. I don't understand it. You know, definitely I have a green thumb. At least that's what my mom used to say. I want to give a shout out to Rick Van Man. He's in England, and he has an allotment there, and if you haven't seen his videos, I definitely recommend seeing his videos. He's kind of my hero. I watch a lot of allotment videos because they have this dedicated space that they have to get in the car or on the bike, and they have to get to, and they have to dedicate a part of their day to going to the allotment and going through and doing their stuff in the allotment. It's the end of April of 2014, and I don't know. We've had pretty crummy weather this year. Although, from what it sounds like, most of the world, for the last 3 to 5 years. It's had pretty crummy weather. So I'm just kind of hoping that it perks up a little bit. I've got some issues. I bought a real nice 100-foot hose last year, and my dog got a hold of it, and it was a pretty expensive hose and destroyed it. So I've got to find and figure out a way to get water back here. I started putting on my tomatoes on anyways before I left last spring. I started a water irrigation system, but never got to be able to put it together, and so I've got to figure out a few things. So today's one of those days where I've got to mow the lawn and rake up some leaves and pick up dog poop, and yeah, it's just part of having responsibility in a backyard. So anyways, I think I've rambled on enough. It's a pretty long video. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to post those. You know, and of course subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Those are always awesome. Any suggestions? I am definitely open for ideas and suggestions. I'm hoping to get more subscribers behind me, so then that way throughout the year as I'm growing and I come across something new and different that I haven't encountered before, I'd like to bounce ideas off of you and hopefully get some response back. But I think for the most part this year I kind of got all my staples that I normally do, like my pumpkin, cucumbers, strawberries. Strawberries are one of the newer ones. I've tried it a few times, but I've never been very successful. I think a lot of that's just because they dry out. I have a big issue with having time to come in water. And then like corn salad. I've done salads before, you know, salad mixes and leafy greens before, so they're pretty straightforward. And of course, tomatoes. I grow tomatoes all the time. I've never been successful growing tomatoes from seeds, so I'm kind of curious to see how these are going to turn out, especially with the fact that I don't know, it's a first. So, okay, I better end this video, but before I do, I wanted to give you a real quick glance here at my my lilac bushes, and so you can see how they're coming along. So, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I'll see you later. Bye. When it's all in a big bunch like this, it makes me think that it's plants, but it looks like weeds. And here's another big bunch, and I know I didn't plant them that thick, so for the most part everything looks like it hasn't come up yet. I'm looking in here for rows. Ha! There we go. There it is. Our spinach is finally coming up, and it's in rows, which is good because that's the way I planted it. So yeah, nice. It's in rows. Good. And then let's see, the dog was out here digging. Here we go. There's some stuff coming up. Let's go take a look back here and see. My battery's about to die on my camera, so I better hurry up. I gotta get this done early because it's going to thunderstorm today, and it's gonna be really, really bad. So, all right, let's see. I don't see any pumpkin come up yet. Tomatoes are growing. They're even bigger than my last video, so they're doing good. Oh, pumpkins are doing good. Peppers. Doesn't look like the peppers are up yet, but they're a longer germination. Wow, look at this. It's kind of perked back up. This is kind of nice. I thought it was gonna be done for. And then yellow squash over here. I don't see anything yet. So, and then the rest of the little buckets, there's nothing in them either. And those are tomatoes. But then again, it has been kind of cold out here, so we'll see. Alright, so I'm the only Sir Cracker coming to you from my yard. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Sorry for the quick update. No lilacs yet. Although it is kind of early. We did have some flowers on one of these trees the other day, but I don't think it was lilacs. It was this one here. But they're all gone now. This is my lilac bush. So it might still be a little bit too early for lilacs. I probably have in about June, I think. So. Alright. Bye. One last thought here. I wanted to show you I planted cabbage, and they are looking really good. The three white barrels are self-watering barrels. Well, kind of. They got holes about 2-3 inches up from the bottom, so it keeps water in the bottom of it, but not too much to drown it. These are looking good. Alright, that was my quick update. Hey there, YouTube friends, it's me, the only Sir Cracker, and I'm gonna shoot this video today using my phone. So let's see how that turns out. Hopefully it works. So, before I show you the garden, I better put on a pot, and because I want my cup of tea this morning. So, okay. I'm gonna go back inside real quick and get my cup of tea. And thanks to the magic of film, I got my cup of tea. Alright, let me show you the garden. So, I believe this is called cabbage, haha, and it is in what's called the Brassica family. So, yep. Okay, so, I'm looking at all these pots. Now, we planted seeds, but nothing came up really but garbage. I've got, looks like over here in the corner, I've got a little bit of basil, and maybe another little basil there. I think that's the only thing that came up, other than weeds. There's, another cabbage. There is, more basil. It doesn't appear that my, potatoes have come up. I'm gonna probably replant potatoes. But look at that. My spinach is taking off. It's doing good. This is real thick, thin. So, anyways, it's ready to be picked. And thin it out a little bit so I can get some more growth on it. We've actually been thinning this out for quite some time, so probably could use a little bit of more mulch to help keep the weeds down. A bin full of weeds. It's like probably more weeds. And then to the back half. Okay, so out here in the back half, there's been a lot of growth going on, and a lot of things have happened since my last video, and I want to share those with you. So my last video, between my last video and this video, I put down grass clippings, lots of mulch, and that kind of stuff. But look how big those tomatoes have gotten. They're huge. Doing good. Doing good. Alright, so quick update here. Here is my pumpkins, and then I've got a little squash back there. Tomatoes. Now, with my tomatoes, let me set my cup of tea down. Woo, set it down. Don't go nowhere. I am, because I've got, this is where a lot of people are going to come back to me and they're going to say, oh, well, you can't do that. That's not the way to do it. Because I've got 2 plants, I'm going to get twice as much yield, but I have to do it in this particular way. Everything from about here down, I'm going to end up trimming off. And then all the branches, all the suckers between the two plants that point into the opposite plant is all going to be trimmed off. So basically, I'm going to have an opening in between, going all the way up. And they're going to be separated backward, separated. And then that way, got plenty of plenty of air flow. They're the only things that are going to be planted in these marigolds. Marigolds are in these pots as well. And so yeah, so there's my tomato plants. They're all coming up. All of them have the marigolds. These 3 anyways have marigolds in them. I'll grab my tea. Oh, yummy. That's the one part of being Brit that I love the best. Okay, so down here I've got those little cherry tomatoes, and they're already growing flower. I don't know if I mentioned, but it is June 1st. So the weather is just now starting to warm up. So I got pepper, tomato, all the way across. And then here's all my peppers. And they're looking good. Look, I've even got, where is it? Oh, a flower growing on that one there. And so these ones up here are the bells, remember? Oh, look, and my marigolds have got yeah, they're starting to bud. Looks good. Strawberry plants, and they're taking off, throwing all kinds of suckers everywhere. And then I've got my broccoli. All 3 of these have broccoli in them. Check this out. This is amazing. Ta-da! I got broccoli. I'll put the cover back on in a minute. There's 2 reasons I got the cover on. One is to help keep them warmer and give them a little bit of chance. The other is to help keep the squirrels from getting to them. So there we go. All those. There's the yellow crookneck squash. I don't think they're going to do well. I'm thinking about it, but I don't think they will. But we'll see. Ta-da! Now, if you don't know what that is, you're definitely not a gardener. Joking. And then a couple of more. And I'm come back over here because I'm hiding more cabbage over here. They will have to be moved. I just haven't figured out where I'm going to put them yet, but they've got to be moved. The beautiful rose bushes are totally drowning them out. They're getting enough light right this minute, but it will be done before you know when. So look at that. That rose there has already got buds on it too. So we're gonna have roses soon. So for YouTube and Facebook friends, I am the only Sir Cracker, and I got my cup of tea. And I'm in my garden enjoying the wonderful, I don't call it wonderful, but the plants do, sun. I prefer rain, actually, and overcast. But then again, that's because I burn really quick. I had I got radiation poisoning from like almost 14 years ago. This July 9th will be 14 years cancer-free. So, anyways, I digress. So that's my garden. And just kind of a quick update. Not a whole lot has changed. I'm going to probably end up going and finding something else and putting these pots up front here and planting something else in there. I know I want to put carrots or something in and potatoes and that kind of stuff, so we'll see. Oh, check this out. They're growing. Now, I grew onions this year from seed. They've only been in the ground here for maybe a month at the most. Yeah, pretty cool. Those onions look amazing. I definitely am going to plant seeds again. They need to be thinned out a little bit. They're kind of thick, but I'm going to wait a little bit longer and make sure I get the nice, bigger stalked one. You know, I want the best of the best. So, yeah, those onions are great. They turned out wonderful, and the basil's great. I'm surprised it came up. See, and I don't usually grow a lot from seeds. I did when I was a kid, but I've kind of shied away from that a little bit, just because our climate here in the inland Northwest has changed so much over the last 15, 20 years that it's almost impossible to do anymore. You can do it, but by the time you can harvest, you're all looking at October. If it doesn't die off by then. So, anyways, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I'll talk to you next time. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm so sorry that it's taking so long for me to get my videos up. I started a new job, and so I've been pretty busy with that, working 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it's just my weekends. I'm so tired, and I just want to get what's got to get done around here, and then whatever little time I have left over, I have to vegetate. So I'm sorry that the video is taking the back seat, but I'm gonna do my best to stay on top of it. All right, again, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. YouTube friends, it's me, the only Sir Cracker, and today is July 1st. I'm coming to you from my garden, and a lot has changed since the very first video this last spring, and so I thought I'd go ahead and give you a quick tour update. Quick garden update. So enjoy. This is my garden. Believe it or not, I'm actually standing pretty far back away from these guys. This is my broccoli, and I have 3 of them in here, if you remember, and they are huge. Look at the size of these. And honestly, if you remember, I didn't think these guys were going to come up. With all of the squirrels chewing and eating away at everything, I didn't think they were going to come up, but they sure did. And look, here's some strawberries for you. Now here's what's really funny. I only got to harvest 1 strawberry off of these. Most of these are all being eaten when they do come ripe to the squirrels. Now there's something here I want to see if I can show you. Look at this. I believe I have an infestation. Now, I'm not exactly sure what these are, so if you know what this is, please let me know. And if you have a simple organic solution on how I can get rid of them, please, that would be fantastic. But look, all of them coming back here. This is just crazy. A few weeds back here. Not much. A couple of things would just be pulled out. But look at this. I mean, they've just taken root absolutely everywhere, which would be great for next year. But not going to get a whole lot of fruit, I don't think, this year. But next year, I'm going to cut all the runners, so there's no runners. Look at this. Oh, I'm not a big fan of these things, I'll tell you. But these have just gone crazy. And hopefully they'll keep the bugs away from my other plants. Alright, so here's some pepper plants for us. Let's take a look at these. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. They're getting there. They're growing. Oh, look, here's some flowers. There's some more. I think there's a baby pepper here growing. So, let's go down a little further. And these are all, remember, these are all the bell style peppers. So, I've got a little bit of growth going. These guys here are really shooting up. Lots of little flowers and stuff. So, a little bit of some flowers and stuff in there. Of course, the dang tomato plants are just going crazy. Look at this. They've already got tons of tomatoes on them. And like I said, it's only June 1st. So, and they're up here too. And this one, I mean, let me step back. That one's gotten huge. I mean, it was only like, that was bigger than that. It was like this tall, I think, when I planted it. And it's just huge. And of course, I got these. And they're so long and lanky, and I don't know if lanky is the word I want to use, but they're just insane. They don't smell good, in my opinion, but they're kind of pretty. But they're here for the bugs. Keep the bugs away. Look here. I got some tomatoes in here going. Oh, look, there's more back here. So, remember, there's 2 plants in each one of these barrels. So, I'm looking. Did I lose the other plant? Where is it? Oh, the other plant went back this way. Whoops. And it's not even inside the frame, man. Oh, that's going to be bad. Of course, it's grown too fast and too much to be able to put it back inside. Oh well, I guess it's just gonna fall back behind. So look at this. These, I have 2 of them here. Oh, so, yeah, that's what happens, I guess, when you work too many hours or it grows too fast. I think it's probably a lack of me getting out here. So anyways, these 2 and these 2 and these 2 are doing great. They're all getting tomatoes. I think this one had tomatoes on it too. I just don't remember where I saw them. Oh, see, there's some tomatoes in here that are coming up. And of course the pumpkin plants, these pumpkin plants are getting really big. And look at the tentacles on this thing. It's wrapping around itself. But these guys are going to end up growing down and out, which means this one here, this tomato plant's going to end up having to move. All these tomato plants they're leaning because I don't have them staked up other than this one. And they were supposed to have been pretty much self-supporting, but that's just not going to happen. They're just all over the place. Look at this though. I mean, this is what they're all doing. Have you ever seen a plant have this many blossoms on it? Look at that. And then, I mean, it's already got these beautiful little green tomatoes. And they're all doing that. And here, look, this one is this huge bundle. There's tomatoes on it. So, yeah, they're all doing it. They've all got tomatoes on them. You know, I mean, just look at that. I mean, this is just insane. That's just wow, right? So this pepper plant here is a hot pepper. I don't remember which one it was. It's not doing very well, but look at that. The purple jalapeno. It is huge. And look at these gorgeous little flowers it's got. I mean, it's just crazy. This is the one I think I'm going to end up taking inside later in the year. Hey, look, a little bumblebee. I'm going to end up cutting it down and taking it inside. And then this one, I believe, is the Peter pepper. And so it has little peppers on it that look like Peter's, yep, yeah, that thing. And I don't see any, oh, maybe there's one. Looks like there's maybe one right there. I don't see any other blossoms or anything on it yet. So that's fine. And like I said, the broccoli's doing great. And look at these guys. I mean, they're just growing. There's flowers all over them. Look at this. This guy here, he's pretty full. Isn't that just awesome? He's ready to be picked. And he's got some little friends. And I think I'm going to end up picking them here in the next day or so. There's a couple of them here. These are all to be pickled. So maybe I'll get a little small jar for pickling. I don't see... There's a couple of itty bitty ones, but they're not doing anything yet. Let's see, more itty bitty, like cocktail size. Nothing. Oh, that's a beaut. Look at that beaut. You know, this is only July 1st. What's this thing gonna, what are these things gonna keep doing? Gonna keep doing this all year? Because that would be awesome. A couple little ones, but nothing worth picking there yet. So there's a couple of them. I can get a jar out of that for pickles. That would be nice. And I think I'm just going to do a few here, a few there as time goes on. Okay, so here's the crookneck squash. Look at these leaves, man. They're huge. And I'm looking in here, and there's some blossoms. Nothing major, not yet. Although it's early in the season for these guys still. Look at this. I mean, this is crazy. That's my rhubarb. And I've harvested this rhubarb now like 5 times. And it just keeps shooting out all this new growth, man. Just awesome. So, yeah, the rhubarb's going crazy. These I had in here, I had some squash. They're gone. They died. The wonderful little critters decided to eat them away. And of course, compost piles are hiding there. Nothing fancy there. Bunch of weeds and garbage over here. Look, this is what happens when you have a Great Dane Bull Mastiff. Huge hole. Thank gosh we only have the one. Alright, let's go and let's go take a look at the rest of the yard. Do excuse the mess and the children's stuff. They've been out here playing and having fun all day. Like I said, it's July 1st. It means it's nice and warm. Oh look, there's a bee. Oh, he's gone. Oh. So this guy seems like it's only, this rose bush is only flowering on the old stock. It's not doing anything on the new. So whatever. I'm not a big fan. But hey, look at this. Here are my onions. Look at these. They're amazing. And I put nice straw around them. Looks to me like something is indeed eating the top of my onions. So hopefully they survive the year. And then, look, weeds. Man, I'm so tired of weeds. Ugh. That's all I ever seem to have to do around here is pull weeds, even though I'm in pots. This is my lavender that I planted. It was already a plant, but it's doing good. The basil came from seed. Look at this basil. I'm going to be harvesting this for dry seasoning. The rosemary's doing good. I planted it. Cabbages are all looking okay. This one's not quite as pretty as I would like. It looks like something's been eating away at it too. And then here is all my carrots. So all my carrots came up. Well, not all, but a lot of carrots came up. And again, all the same thing. So out of the corn, I planted an entire packet of corn. Not just here, but in other places. And I only have the 4 things of corn that came up. That's it. Oh well. And then, oh yeah, there's that guy. And I harvested every single one of these spinach plants. And I threw some compost or some grass clippings on top. I'm going to mix it in a little bit. But yeah, once they start to bolt, man, they're done. They get bitter and kind of gross. And so I'm going to dig all this in. And then I'm going to replant some spinach, even though I probably shouldn't. I should put something else in there, but what the heck. All right, YouTube friends, well, that's it. That's my garden up to this point in time. So I hope you guys like what you see. If you have any questions, comments, any suggestions on how I can make my channel any better, that would be really great. I think what would be really good is if I was to get myself a tripod. However, the camera that I was using, that I had on a tripod, the camera got, well, destroyed. Again, that's what happens when you have children and a Great Dane Bull Mastiff. Sometimes they get into things they are definitely not supposed to. So, anyways, I'm looking into some better film equipment. Hopefully I can put it in a lock safe or a box or something when I'm not using it, so that it doesn't get into. Something behind a key would be good. A 3 and a 4-year-old figure that out, right? It's my garden looks great as far as I'm concerned, and it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, with not having as many 55-gallon barrels as I wanted. They are basically they're self-watering containers. There's a reservoir at the bottom. Basically, it's not really, but it's got enough soil in it that it holds the water and it just wicks it up when it needs it. The soil's always moist, and but I'm hoping next year I'll have more barrels. But we've been talking, the wife and I, and we will probably be somewhere else for next year. We're talking about moving and getting ourselves a little bit more land and maybe planting in the ground, which would be kind of nice. I am going to try to stick with the permaculture style gardening, where you use a lot of compost and organic matter on the surface to help keep the moisture retention down and that kind of thing. So, yeah. Anyways, like I said, if you have any questions or comments or you have any suggestions, please leave them. Thumbs up is always a good thing if I can get it. and of course, more subscribers. I'm currently at 7 subscribers here in July 1st of 2014, and I am doing everything I can to try to promote my channel that I can think of. So, okay, well, here's the growing season, and hopefully it's a nice long season, and the snows and the cold weather stay away, and we get lots of harvest. Oh, quick update for you too. Pretty soon here, of course, I'm going to end up having, lots of different things coming available to preserve. And so I'm going to be doing some canning and some dehydrating, hopefully, if I can manage that, and that sort of thing. So I will give you quick little blibbits, or whatever you want to call them, about how to do that, and that sort of thing as well. So my garden and my channel here have been a lot of what I've been doing, but I think I'm going to got a lot of tips from people that I should make this more of a how-to garden. So I'll be adding a little bit more how-to stuff in. However, I'm kind of more of just this is what I do. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm going to give you a quick view of my garden here in the back on the way out. So, all right, I'm the Only Sir Cracker, and I will see you next time. Bye. I'm the Only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you yet again from my backyard. Today is July 8th. It's my 8th wedding anniversary today. Yay! Anyways, please excuse me without a shirt on. I just took a shower because I've been hot and sweaty all day. It's hot and sweaty. Yeah, 90 degrees today. Anyways, let me give you a quick look at my garden and see where we're at. It's, been 7 days since my last video. Here's my onions, and they're doing okay. They're kind of hanging on. I put some garlic in here. So that's garlic there. This is another garlic one. Onion. I don't have a whole lot of hope for these garlic, but we'll see what happens. And then, of course, my lavender is just exploding, and pretty soon here I'm going to harvest my lavender and dry it. Speaking of harvesting, oh look, there's some. I just harvested my basil. They were up to like here. They were huge. So I cut them all back, and so I did that, and I also harvested some of these spikes. They were also taller. That's my rosemary. And what's really great about basil and lavender is the more you harvest, the more it grows. In here, I look like I've got a couple little carrots. This is a garlic bulb, and look, a weed. We get a lot of these weeds. I know it looks like parsley, but I'll tell you what, it's not. I'm smelling it. I think it's parsley. Whoops. I think I just killed me a parsley. Let's see if I can rebury it. Which is funny, because she did plant parsley in here, I think. Maybe. I'm not 100%. I don't know. I'm a horrible gardener. Can never remember. Okay. These cabbages are looking like garbage. The pot's drying out. And here's my carrots. Oh, looks like an eggshell that didn't decompose. These are my carrots. They're getting big. Pretty soon here I'm going to thin them out. And here we go. Here's some garlic that's really starting to come up, and then some carrot shoots. And again, more rosemary, more basil. Look how big these leaves are. They were huge. And then, of course, the most beautiful thing in the garden. Okay, so the only flowers in the garden that I like to have. These guys are huge now. They're growing leaps and bounds. These are my corn. And probably tomorrow I will end up planting peas in the bottom of them, and then the pea stalks will grow up the corn. And then another cabbage doesn't look good. My bed has absolutely nothing in it. It looks gross and disgusting because I haven't really tilled it or anything yet. I wasn't going to, but then I was like, I don't know. of course, nothing but garbage. Garbage on this end this time around. Not a whole lot's changed. Everything's just gotten bigger. So in the black barrel there's nothing. Of course, this is my rhubarb, which I've harvested my rhubarb a few times. But look at this squash. This squash leaf is bigger than the rhubarb leaf. There's like 4 or 5 of these, I think, in here. They're all getting their flowers on them and stuff. And they're growing. I'm just going to let them go. Whatever they do, they do. And my cucumbers. And I've already harvested a few cucumbers and already made some pickles. Canned them. But this is what we got going on. And yeah, they're looking good. So, like I said before, I moved everything down, the black pots. I moved them down this way because that, down at the end, the pumpkin's getting too big. But look at this. I mean, this is just amazing. I have 3 of those broccolis in there, and they're looking great. These are the only ones I've got in here, but this is really the first year they've been in this pot, and I've allowed them to kind of trail, so. And then, let's see, I got peppers. And I got more peppers, and I got more peppers, but I have no peppers, just flowers. Peppers, there's another one here, there's 2 here, but only flowers at this point in time, so we'll see what happens. But I got tomatoes, look at that, amazing, and they're just gonna keep growing. And look how tall this thing is, man. I stand up to like here, like seriously, so these things are like, they're tall. They're really tall. So, they're gonna keep growing. Isn't that pretty? Now again, I only have these to help keep the bugs away. So, these are turning out to be more like a cherry style tomato. You can see those. But I've got just tons of blossoms everywhere. Oh look, if you look down in here, there's a bunch of them growing. And then there's a bunch of those growing. Now I thin, because I've got 2 plants in each barrel, I thin the tomatoes out, like seriously. I took a huge thing of them, of the leaves and stuff out, so I can get more light, and so that I don't get any rot or anything going on. If they get too close to each other, they have a lot of rot. And then this is the pumpkin, and look at that, it's already starting to grow through the fence. And there's like 2 or 3 of them here. I mean, there's another vine here, and this is the vine, and so it's just the 2. I've had a couple of blossoms, but I don't think the blossoms, I think they're just too immature. They're not going to really do a whole lot yet. The plant's got to get a little bit bigger. And then my tomatoes down here, man, they're just all over. Although, seeing a lot of blossoms, but not a whole lot of tomato growth yet. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have another wave. We did have a couple of really hot days recently, and they didn't do too well. This guy's really suffering. But these black pots, I don't think I'm going to do them again next year. Here's my pepper. I got lots of flowers. I have a few little peppers, I think, coming on, but nothing substantial yet. But yeah, we had a lot of hot days. So that's my garden. Like I said, we've had a couple of really, really hot days, and these small black pots are not doing as well as I was hoping that they would do. See if I can get better lighting. There we go. They're not doing quite as well as I was hoping that they would do. I definitely am not doing them next year, I don't think, or if I do, I'm going to put stuff in them that doesn't really matter. Even the peppers, you'd think the peppers wouldn't mind drying out a little bit, but when it gets really hot, they start to wilt themselves. And when my tomatoes wilt, that's like the first sign, oh, hey, it needs water. But I try to water them every night with a sprinkler or with the handheld and get them wet. The blue barrels, they don't need to be watered as much. They need to be watered every now and again, especially when it's really hot, but for the most part, they don't need to be watered too much. But yeah, definitely I'm not doing the black pots next year. Not for vegetables. They dry out way too fast, especially in the hot heat. Maybe if I was to bury them in the ground, but then that would defeat the purpose of having a pot. The other option is to get trays for them, maybe. I think what the problem is with them is the holes for the pot are down at the very bottom, so there's no room for a reservoir of water to sit on the bottom and help keep them moist. So I think what's happening is the water's draining out of them and they're drying out. And so maybe if I do keep them, maybe I'll try to put like a basin or something underneath them to help keep a little bit of water retention in there. But they're not doing as well as I would like. However, all of my blue barrels are doing fantastic, but then again, they've got that 8 to 10 inches on the bottom, that's holding water. And so, that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to look into next year, probably doing a couple of the self-watering ones where you cut a third of the top off, the top third off, and then slide that down inside and see how that does for self-watering. Maybe try that, see how that goes. I also want to probably try something with the strawberry barrel. I want to probably put the strawberries in a different container maybe and try something there too. So anyways, rambling on. I'm the only Sir Cracker, and tour of my garden and what's been going on. Alright, so over here I've got my onions, and they're getting pretty big from seed. They're doing good. And then look at this. Oh, they're amazing, and they smell gorgeous. My lavender is just amazing. And then I've already harvested once from my basil. And then there's my rosemary. And then my cabbages aren't doing too hot this year. They're kind of small and not too happy. Look at this. I just planted this carrot not that long ago. I gotta actually go in here and thin this out a little bit here soon. But look at that. That's all my carrots. And then in this pot here, I've got a few more carrots. Oh, here's a weed. Don't you love weeds? And then, oh, another weed. This is garlic. This is garlic. Rosemary. Basil. Look how tall that's getting already. I gotta harvest that again. And then corn. It's amazing how fast corn grows, I swear. This one here was the biggest, and it was up to about here, and the dog's tail whacked it, and it appears as if it's growing again. So maybe it'll do good for me. That bed is just a disappointment. All of this stuff here is going to end up in blue barrels. I'm just going to wipe this out altogether. The problem is half the bed gets shade most of the day, and it doesn't do very well. That's pretty depressing. So, and then let's go back here. Yeah, we've got a fire pit. We've been having fire in the fire pit every night. After I get off work, I get to sit for about 2 hours and watch the fire. Alright, look at that. Pumpkin plant is just going nuts. And then, let's see, lots of tomatoes coming on the vine. Move these guys out of the way. So, there's some tomatoes down there. A few here, a few there. This is pretty cool. Look at this. Whoop, almost fell over. There's tomatoes in there. I had to prop these up. I don't have any cages for them. I had to prop them up against the barrels because they were falling over because there were so many tomatoes. Look at this. Oh, tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. My pepper plants, they're not doing quite as well as I wanted. I haven't seen any fruit on any of my pepper plants yet. That's kind of cool. So, I don't know what's going on. So, I don't know. It's been pretty hot. That might be part of the problem. We've had some really hot weather. Look how tall this is. This is about 4 feet tall. That's my purple jalapeno. Isn't that crazy? And all the older flowers are down here. And oh look, there's my very first pepper right there. Oh wait, here's one. So they are coming on this one anyways. They're coming on this one. And then in here I've got some more tomatoes hiding. Here's another pepper. And some of these peppers, man, they're just not taking it well. I don't know what is going on with them. They're having some issues. Oh, darn it. Broccoli is bolted. Well, I'll let it go seed, I guess. And they weren't very tight heads. They were really big and open. So I don't know what the heck the problem was with this. So I don't know if they're getting too much water or not enough or what. But that's the size. But they're huge. Like, they're not tight. I'm used to broccoli being tight, so whatever. I'll harvest the leaves and juice the leaves. And then my cucumbers, they're still got some flowers coming on. Oh look, here's a cucumber I got. That needs to be harvested, and it got harvested. It fell off. That needs to be taken care of. I'm not seeing a whole lot of other cucumbers actually. Maybe the weather's too hot for them too. It's been up in the 90s. And then, whoa, check this out. This thing's huge. That's my crookneck squash. And I thought it was a runner, but it's like all bunching in one spot. This is the first time I've ever done crookneck. It's quite interesting. And it's totally like, the leaves are way bigger than my rhubarb. And something's getting to my rhubarb. Something's been eating at my rhubarb. But, yeah. Mulch bins. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. Kind of a quick little update. So the cabbages aren't doing too hot. I think the cabbage is having problems because I've got them in pots. I think if I would have had them in the ground or a bigger container, they would have done just fine. They do tend to dry out a little bit. The broccoli is kind of disappointing, as you could see. And the pumpkin is going crazy. The squash is going crazy. Of course, cucumber. Yum! So, alright, well, that's my garden. I better water it before I have to get dressed and go to work for the day. Oh, hey! Give you a little quick thing here. I don't know if anyone knows anything about this or not, but it's gotta go to the shop. My lawnmower. I was mowing the lawn. I was going around this tree here the other day, and it was running. It was, and then all of a sudden, it went, and just died out. And now I can't get it started again. I'm wondering if anyone out there knows what might have happened. I'm assuming I probably got a loose wire or something. Maybe something vibrated and came unplugged or something. I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of time to work on it, and I'm trying to figure out if I should take it into the shop or if I should do it myself, being the fact that it's electric. So, anyways, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and you're watching my channel. Please feel free to subscribe or give me a thumbs up. And I do apologize for this upload being all one thing, and if I rambled on, I try to make it as quick as possible. Alright, I'll talk to you later. Thank you. Yep, that's right. That right there, my friends, that's my very first tomato of the season. Isn't that amazing? Not quite the ripest tomato in the world. It's pretty ripe. Ripe enough for me to pick it. So there it is. My first tomato of the season. My first tomato I've ever grown in this garden to come ripe. The last year, as you know, I didn't have much of a garden because I wasn't here. I was on the road. And the year before, well, I built the garden and didn't have time to plant. So this is my first real year of gardening. This is my first real tomato. Smells good. Let's see how it tastes, shall we? Absolutely awesome. Sweet. It's just full of flavor, more than what you get in the grocery store. Just fantastic. So I'm going to let the other two on there, I'm going to let them sit and ripen up. Actually, there's more than two. Look at this. I mean, I'm sure you saw it. Look at all those tomatoes. They're just loaded. So we're going to let those sit. And all of my tomato, all these little cherries, they all have tomatoes on them. All of them. I mean, even over here, look at this. So, yep, that's a quick little update. My first cherry tomato. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait until these guys ripen. Look at that. That is just amazing. I mean, they're everywhere. Look at this. Just everywhere. They're even up here. They're hiding in the woods. Woo! I mean, I'm getting more growth. Everywhere I look, there's more growth. Yeah, anyways. Not quite a whole video here, just a really quick snip. Just wanted to share it with you real quick. I'm the only Sir Cracker. And please, feel free to subscribe if you like my videos. Give me a thumbs up. And leave a comment. Absolutely, please leave a comment on my videos. Let me know what you think. So, alright, well, I'm the only Sir Cracker, and I look forward to talking to you later. Hey, and while you're at it, check out the rest of my videos on my garden. Bye for now. Wow, even my peppers are doing great. Oh my gosh. It's me, the only Sir Cracker, and I'm coming to you again, go figure, from the garden. And I just kind of wanted to give you a little quick update. Not a whole lot has changed other than the corn. Check this out. I mean, seriously, I'm standing next to the corn, and it's it's growing. That's what's so funny about corn, is corn will just shoot up like nobody's business. And then the carrots. The carrots are just thick. I mean, I gotta get in here, seriously. See if I can find a place to thin and pull carrots. So many, they're so thick. But not bad. Very, very carroty. These guys are looking better. They're starting to perk up now that they've gotten a little bit of water. And look at these onions. And these things are huge. And they're just growing and growing. And this one back here looks like he fell over a little bit. But they're just going and going and going. So, yeah, I just want to take a look at that. So the wind's blowing like crazy. We got a storm coming in. And stuff is falling off the trees. Hopefully the trees don't themselves fall down. That would be bad. But we have a nasty, you can see in the background. Hopefully you can see. Doesn't quite look as dark as it actually is, but there's a real nasty storm coming. So, let's see how things are doing here. Oh yes, my purple jalapenos are looking good. There's, I got, what, 4 of them on here. And look, I got another tomato decided to perk itself up. Oh, I got another one over here. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna harvest these. Maybe I've got one for me and one for the wife, maybe. And there's a bunch over here. These are, wow, maybe it's time for me to start thinking about canning. You guys are all turning. Uh-oh, I took a stem off with that. That one's really ripe. Look at that. I absolutely love tomatoes. And they're easy to grow. They're one of my favorites. And there's 4. This one's not quite ripe yet, but they'll still be good. They're one of the easiest plants to grow in the garden. They just go crazy. I mean, look. This thing's way up here. And it's just, they grow and they grow and they grow. And all of these ones are huge, but they're heavy, but they're not quite turning yet, which is good. All these are going to get canned. I'm going to probably do stewed tomatoes, or I'm going to do probably salsa and that kind of thing. And then I've got pickles, like pickling cucumbers. Look at this. I don't know if you can see. There's a cucumber there. Cucumbers. I mean, they're just coming on. Let's see if I can find them. They're all the little teeny ones right this moment. But let's see. There's a few in here. So look, there's one right there. So yeah, they're growing. They're coming on. The wind, look at this. It has just blown over. The wind has just been so brutal that it's just blown the whole thing over. But look at my crookneck squash. I'm hoping this thing just gets real long. That would be cool. My rhubarb too. The wind has just blown the heck out of it. So I have a feeling by the time this storm is over, I'm gonna have a few dead plants. And yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully everything will just kind of pass right through, get us a little bit of rain, a little bit of thunder, although I haven't seen any thunder yet. So hopefully it'll go through and not too many problems. I do want to take my lawn chair that I have here and put it somewhere safe so the wind doesn't pick it up and throw it across the house or across the yard. I've decided, this bed here, by the way, I have decided that I am going to plant some more spinach in here. Oh, look at this. Just for kicks and giggles, I decided, if you can guess what this is, oh wait, maybe you've already seen my videos. I decided to just plant a big chunk of ginger, just for the fun of it, and it's just now got shoots coming out. So what I'll probably do, if this thing lasts, I will transplant it into one of the barrels this fall, and then that way we can have we'll have it this fall. So anyways, I'm the only Sir Cracker. I'm gonna go inside where hopefully the storm doesn't make the trees and stuff around here fall down. That would be really bad. I've seen that happen around here 2 or 3 times. Oh my gosh, look at the clouds. I wonder if you can see. Look how fast they're moving. Can you see that? Wow. Yeah, that storm's coming. Okay, I'm inside. Alright, so I will talk to you later. Come on, pup. Inside.